Hey cats, it's your midsole man Eddbud here. Viewers of the channel will know that this weekend I'm running the Manchester Marathon. Rob Gundry and I are heading up this weekend for the second largest marathon in the UK. I think it's the fourth largest one in Europe even. What's the plan, I hear you ask? Well, let me fill you in. Thanks for joining me on the channel, people. It is always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already and you want more shoe content. Also give this video a thumbs up, like, and drop us a comment down below too to help with the algorithm. Dankeschön. So Manchester Marathon, almost there now, a couple of days away. I'm very excited. We're going to be doing a very easy shakeout run on the Saturday before the marathon, something like 5k. Very easy effort. I will put more details about that run up on all the different socials, Instagram, Strava, and on the community section of the YouTube channel as well. We're staying reasonably near the start line, so I think there's a park quite close to that, and we'll probably try and take that over if anybody's up for a nice easy run. Maybe a bacon roll afterwards, who knows. I think there is a park just up the road, Ordsall Park, I think that's how you pronounce it, which has some decent paths there to get the legs moving early doors on the Saturday morning. As I say, watch out on the socials for some more details on that. Pace-wise, we're shooting for 3:20 here. Rob's got a PB at London, I think, from last year of 3:26. So around this would be splendid. I'm just hoping to make it round and not land in any potholes like I did in Brighton a couple of years ago, and just sort of take it in and enjoy it, to be honest with you. I'm really excited to go back to Manchester. I loved my time there when I did the Manchester half a couple of years back. It was fantastic. So I'm really keen to get back there and sort of soak up the vibes. I just generally felt really at home there. It was a really nice place. So this type of pace should be sustainable and realistic for both of us. I mean, I'm no marathon man by any stretch, but I think some very strict pacing here should get us through to a decent result. Starting out easy on miles 1 through to 4, slowly shift up through the gears, grow into that race around miles 5 to 10. So 7:45 per mile for the first 5k, then up to about 7:38ish till that halfway point. So we can push it a little bit, 7:35 maybe for the next 9 miles to mile 23, and then, you know, whatever's left in the tank there, up the ante a bit. I mean, there might not be an awful lot left by then, but that's the very general kind of easy plan. I'm not going into this with any sort of really serious vibes or anything, just gonna enjoy it. Either way, tapering's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, managed to ease back on the intensity of the training, no major issues or problems or anything. In fact, the legs feeling really good, could get out there and do it now really, they're just eager to go. I've done some longer training runs, been pretty uneventful really, up to about 27 kilometers. People kept telling me to go like 20 miles and stuff, but I've got a lot of stuff going on here, like family, work and all sorts. I've just been trying to juggle around that really and do some stuff that feels like it's doing me some good. Do some long runs up to a couple of hours or something. It's been fine really. Perhaps would have liked to have gone on a little bit further, but I mean, at this stage, I know I can stay on my feet for longer than that. I do musical performances and have done since I was like 18 years old, where I'm on my feet for hours and hours at a time. So gel-wise, going to stick with what I know works. I'm going with the Science and Sport gels. Going to use that as a main nutrition. Grab one of the smaller water bottles perhaps and just hang on to that and take some sips when needed really. Going to generally look to take the first gel around about 45 minutes. That's always when I feel that I just need a little boost of something on a run, and especially where you're going into marathon territory here, you don't want to end up with some sort of deficit there. I reckon with these gels that you should take 2 to 3 an hour. 3 seems really excessive. I'm not sure I'd want to take in that much in the space of an hour. That's probably just asking for it really. So I'm going to stick with one every half hour from that 45-minute point. So that works out somewhere as the first one at 6 miles, then at 10, 15, around about 19 miles, and then perhaps if I do feel like I want something at 23, I'll have a extra one there just in case. I'll put it in my hat or something, you know, just as a backup, like a backup Kit Kat. I've run some long runs around at easy pace, 8:15 per mile through to about 7:55 per mile through to like 15 miles, so I don't really feel this is too much of a stretch really for what I'm aiming for. When you're running at a slightly faster pace, obviously intake's going to be a little bit more, but yeah, I've done some 2-hour like long runs and had like a gel in the middle somewhere, and even that didn't really feel like I needed it. But of course, with all the other stuff going on around you, the nervous energy and stuff, you're going to be burning off a little bit more. So I think this is a reasonable sort of plan. Not sure I've ever spoken to anybody who said like the marathon is easy. So I'm looking at taking it easier for the first section just to allow a little more focus and keep some in reserve for the second part. Do want to follow me on the day. I'm number 3080. I think there's some like live stream stuff going on the marathon website, and of course you got that tracking stuff which does like predictive tracking, so it looks where you are at like 5, 10k and so on, and then predicts a final outcome. Gotta remember to put that back in my bag. That would be particularly bad to forget that one. So 100% going for the ALPHAFLY 3. Well, I say 100%, 95%. Kipchoge pair. I've got about 18 miles into these. They're feeling good. There's a tiny bit of wear, it's all paint stuff coming off here, but the shoe feels absolutely smashing. What I've noticed between the 11 and the 10.5 UK is that there's not really any length difference. They actually start to alter the amount of room you've got here in the upper, and the 10.5's actually fitting really well. Using slightly thinner sock, it's a perfect fit. So I'm going to go with these. Going to plaster up a couple of key areas on my smaller toes just to avoid any rubbing, mainly really just as a sort of psychological barrier as well. That's one area where any long run you're going to get a little bit of abrasion, so hopefully that'll stop that. The ALPHAFLYs have felt really good over the course of training, run hundreds of miles in several pairs I've got. They work at a slower clip if needed as well. If I do need to ease off at some point, my main goal here is just like, you know, finish basically. It's always been a model that I've thought's a bit of overkill for like a 10k or even a half marathon. As such, it's time to sort of put that theory to the test and utilise these over the full distance. I think Rob's going to go with his red and lime green pair as well. He ran the recent Yeovil half marathon with some good results in those. Got him through that at a good pace there. More as a training run, I think. Biggest thing there though is he's coming back from some serious surgery, but yeah, the guy's an absolute legend. That's all I'm going to say. So really proud to be running with him in the Manchester Marathon this weekend. The thing I like about the ALPHAFLY is that width in the heel. You don't have that in all of the super shoes. Almost at times, I guess, feels trainer-like, though you do have the reward of the sort of pop from those AirPods if you get the foot strike just right. Kind of anxious not to take a shoe out on the marathon that's too soft. The Adios Pro 4 to me almost feels like it's too kind of squishy, I suppose, in its early miles. Yeah, units here got a little bit more response. Just feels like if you do want to up the pace a bit and just inject a little bit of speed, it will do the job. When I did hit mile 14 in a longer run in the Adios Pro 4 recently, it wasn't actually doing my left knee too many favours. I think the ALPHAFLY, bizarrely, is a touch more stable, and that's actually quite alluring. Now, a few of you did ask about the Puma Fast Star 3. It's tempting. I would have liked to have got a longer run into these. Would have been preferable to do that for a big race, and then I could have utilised them. Seen a lot of Instagram sort of influencers, I suppose, saying that they're going to be using these in the London Marathon. I would be surprised if they'd managed to get a longer run into these, especially with the release so close towards these two big marathons. But I've put too much training, I think, into the ALPHAFLY 3 so far to warrant a wild change and, you know, completely flip to these right now. I do have another race lined up in around about a month's time from this one, so you know these will get their chance to shine very soon. Course wise, I've kind of looked over it. There's a couple of sections in Altrincham that appear where there's some elevation, I suppose. It's nothing major. I've seen some people making out it's a little bit more major. When you're running quite a hilly place, you know, that's nothing. You know, quite easy to do a easy 5k with 200 foot elevation, so it's not really a big deal. There's some reasonably straight sections there, and some parts that I've ran when I did the Manchester half as well. It does mimic some of that route. So perhaps I'll see you around in Manchester this weekend. If you're racing there, best of luck. Also, if you're down in London doing the marathon there, wish you the best of luck too. Perhaps a slightly different undertaking down in London. It's going to be very, very busy down there. It looks as if it's going to be a considerable number of people. If you're racing at all this weekend, let me know how your plans and your training have been going down in the comments. What do you think I should wear? My head says this one, really, considering I put all that training in those long runs in the shoe and know how it feels. But it's so super light. It's kind of intriguing, you know. Very quick musical interlude for you. Noticed recently one of my favourite artists, Jens Lekman, had released like a reimagining of one of his albums. Well, my favourite album actually from him, which is called Night Falls over Kortedala. This time he's redone all the tracks, like done updated versions, I suppose, and it's now called The Linden Trees Are Still in Blossom. So all the track titles are the same, but the actual production sometimes differs quite greatly. There's a track on there called Shirian. Was it Shirian? I don't know. It's track number 9, okay, where the drums sound quite different. The strings are sort of been rearranged slightly. Still has a really nice flavour of the original, just very slightly different. It's just been modernised a little bit. I was reading through some of the liner notes that Jens had written for these, and he said that with this album he basically wanted to be Scott Walker but in his bedroom, and I think that's exactly what this album sounds like. There's a really good faux rock and roll track near the end of the album, which is called Friday Night at the Drive-In Bingo, where apparently he was at one stage a drive-in bingo caller. I'm not entirely sure if it's true. I would love to think it is. But so if you like your atmospheric indie twee sort of Bell and Sebastian-esque pop with a hint of Scott Walker, then Jens Lekman is your man. Go and check out this new version of the album, or the original, which is Night Falls over Kortedala. Thanks for tuning in, people. It's always appreciated. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Drop us a comment as well to help with that YouTube algorithm. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you perhaps this weekend.